The Book of the Dead, Chapter 2.
The Angels of Death. Contemporary positivist philosophy is based on the existence of matter, materialism, and energy. There have been many arguments about force and matter, but these latter continue in spite of all speculations, X, Y, unknown. The revolutionary followers of positivist philosophy are always trying to define one through the other. It is ridiculous, extremely ridiculous to define the unknown through the unknown. Materialist philosophy says, matter is that through which changes called movements are effected, and movements are those changes which are effected in matter. This is the identity of the unknown, X equals Y equals X in total, ignorance, a vicious absurd circle. In fact, no one has seen either matter or energy. Human beings only perceive phenomena, things, forms, images, etc. We have never seen the substance of things. The given substance is not solely matter, but wood, copper, tin, stone, etc., nor have we ever seen energy separated from movement. We have never seen matter separated from forms and objects. A handful of earth has a defined form, a statue has a defined form, the planet Earth has a defined form, etc., etc. In fact, so-called matter is only a concept as abstract as beauty, goodness, value, work, etc. No one is able to see the substance itself of things. No one knows the thing itself. We see the physical image of man, but we do not see the thing itself, the body of the man. Only by developing the spatial sense can we see the body itself, the thing itself. Space is the vehicle of the mind, and only with the sense of space can we know the thing itself, which is a man's vital body. What would be the thing itself of a plant? Its vital body. What would be the thing itself of an animal? The animal's vital body. What would be the thing itself of the earth? The vital earth. The vital earth represents the earth in itself. The life of organisms depends on this vital earth. The vital earth is found in the fourth dimension. A point in movement leaves a trace, this is the line. Line in movement leaves a trace, this is the surface. A surface in movement is converted into a solid, and a solid movement is converted into a hyper-solid. In fact, the hyper-solid is the thing itself, the hyper-solid belongs to the fourth dimension. We can only see hypersolids with the spatial sense. In fact, the temporal sense is only the surface of the spatial sense. Upon leaving itself, the point is converted into a line. When the line leaves itself, it is converted into a solid. The solid, leaving itself with a movement in space, is converted into a hyper-solid. Hyper-solids are contained within solid bodies. If the vital body moves to the outside of an organism, the organism inevitably disintegrates. The vital body belongs to the fourth dimension, and the human essence to the fifth dimension. The angels who govern the processes of conception normally live in the fourth dimension, and those who govern death, in the fifth dimension. The first connect the ego to the zoosperm, the second break the connection that exists between the ego and the physical body. The angels of death are in themselves perfect men. The loss of a loved one is very bitter, and it might seem that the angels of death are too cruel, but in fact they are not, even though this may seem incredible. The angels of death work according to laws, with supreme wisdom and great love and charity. We can only understand this clearly when we identify ourselves with them in the molecular world and in the electronic world. The angels of life give a human being a vital body so that he may live. The angels of death take life from a human being. They do this by cutting the silver cord. This cord corresponds to the umbilical cord, and it is sevenfold in its inner constitution. The angels of life connect the molecular body of the disincarnated person with the zoosperm, so that it acquires a new body. In fact, the silver cord is the thread of life which the angels of death break on the appropriate day, and at the right time, in accordance with the law of destiny. This marvelous thread belongs to the superior dimensions of space, and can only be seen with the spatial sense. The dying often sees the angel of death as a quite horrible skeletal figure. In fact, what happens is that he dresses in the clothes that suit his job. In practical life, the policeman wears his uniform, the doctor his white coat, the judge his gown, the priest his habit, etc. The funereal clothes and the skeletal figure of the angels of death horrify those who still have not awakened consciousness. The funereal symbols of the angels of death are the sickle, which cuts down life, the skull of death, the long-eared owl, etc. Outside their work, the appearance of the angels of death is that of beautiful children, sublime maidens, venerable masters, etc. The angels of death are graded in the form of hierarchies. There are grades and levels among them. The angels of death have their temples in the molecular world. They also have their grades, and their palaces and libraries. There in the immensity of the great ocean of life there exists a funereal palace, where one of the imperial genies of death has its dwelling place. Its face is that of an ineffable maiden, and its body, like that of a man. This marvelous being is totally androgynous. This marvelous being is a divine hermaphrodite. Thousands of angels of death work under its direction. In its library there are thousands of molecular volumes where the karmic names and dates of all those who must die are written, each with its own day and time according to the law of destiny. The science of death is terribly divine. The intellectual animal falsely named man dies unconsciously, and is born unconsciously, and goes blindly from the cradle to the grave, without knowing where he comes from or where he is going. In making soul we awaken consciousness, and only then become aware of the mysteries of life and death. Any man with soul can negotiate with the angels of death, and disincarnate himself at will, in accordance with his needs. This means having the power to lengthen his life if he considers it necessary in order to realize or complete some task in the physical world. Those who have transfigured themselves in the electronic world, those who have an electronic body, because they have made soul, can command the angels of death and keep their physical body for millions of years. These are the great saviors of humanity, the great rectors of the world. Let us remember the king of the world cited by Ossendowski in his book entitled Beasts, Men, and Gods. This great being lives in Agartha and has a body of indecipherable age. Extremely old religious writings mention this great being. Let us remember Sanati Kumara, the Ancient of Days, the Great Immolate, the founder of the College of Initiates, of the Great White Lodge. This adept lives in the Gobi Desert in an isolated oasis. The body of this great being is more than 18 million years old. With him, in the same oasis, live a group of adepts with immortal Lemurian bodies. All these adepts travel through the superior dimensions of space with their physical bodies. They have the power to transport themselves with their physical bodies through the fourth or fifth dimension. They all exercise power over the angels of death. They are the adepts of the mysteries of life and death. They have all had to work with the great arcane.
Samael on Weor, the Book of the Dead.